Hello and welcome to this Data Deep Dive webinar. I'm Danny Stone, Director of Data and Insights at Vixio. Okay, I think we're ready to begin. As a reminder, Vixio Regulatory Intelligence is the leading provider of regulatory and business intelligence for the gambling and payments industries. Our gambling compliance vertical is a full regulatory and business analysis and monitoring solution that helps operators and suppliers to enter new markets and stay compliant where they operate. We help compliance, legal and strategy teams to stay ahead of regulatory changes and prepare for new requirements that impact their business. And we help commercial and strategy teams to enter new markets and forecast their market potential. Today I'm going to be going through a few of the main features of our data hub, which serves the second of these principal use cases and has recently undergone a redesign and expansion. Just before that, I'm going to open up a poll for the audience that we will come back to at the end of the webinar. We would like to ask you, what data points are most relevant to you in the course of your work? 1, historical market size data, 2, forward-looking market size forecasts, or 3, operator level market shares. And we'll come back to that at the end of the webinar. So moving to the platform itself, as you can see, the redesigned data hub breaks out our data content into 5 main categories: market data, market monitors, forecasting dashboards, market analysis, and partnership monitors. Today we'll be focusing on 2 of these content pillars, our market monitors and our forecasting dashboards. So starting with our market monitors, these are aggregated reports that contain cross-jurisdictional data relating to some of the most important sectors and subsectors of the global gambling industry. These lift up from our single source, single jurisdiction market data coverage, which spans over 4 million data points across 450 data sets and provides a view of market trends at a more macro level. So we'll just start with our first example, our European online gambling market monitor, which some of you may be familiar with. You can see here we're presenting data via a horizontal time series on an annual time frame, dictated by the way data is reported in this region. You can see market size data broken out by product category to the degree that it's broken out at jurisdictional level. In each instance, we're breaking out the source, the original source of the data, typically regulators level. Where data is being estimated or extrapolated from tax data, for example, we make that clear in the notes section here. And really what we're looking at is a full view of verifiable data relating to regulated, locally licensed gambling across Europe. We can see more recently launched markets towards the bottom here: Switzerland, Netherlands, Germany. As new markets launch, they're added to this market monitor to provide a full view of verifiable data across the continent. So to sum up generally, our market monitors are rich, user-friendly spreadsheets which facilitate powerful cross-jurisdictional analysis and benchmarking, and help save time spent pulling information from multiple sources and data sets. You can see here in the European online market monitor, we're able to break data out into a quarterly time frame as well. We can see across maybe half of the countries under our coverage, we're able to provide a more granular quarterly view of market trends. I'll navigate sideways onto our jurisdictional comparison tab. In each of our market monitors, we provide a visual interactive comparison tool, allowing users to compare market trends across selected jurisdictions, in this case for the vertical they're interested in. So we can drill into online betting, online gaming, or total online trends across the markets that you are interested in. So just going to move on to another one of our market monitors here, our market monitor for US sports betting. You can see here we have a more granular time frame, monthly view of market trends across the US sports betting space, again dictated by the way data is reported in this sector of the industry. We can see we're tracking data across nearly 30 states at this point. Again, as new markets launch, this market monitor is expanding to incorporate new jurisdictions. We can see the richness of the data that's available for this sector. The key headline metrics such as handle, gross revenue, gross margins on a monthly and trailing 12-month basis. Also statistics by delivery channel, by sport, promotional metrics to gauge the level of promotional intensity, marketing intensity in each state, and also market share data that's available for the majority of online markets in this space, both on a monthly, trailing 3-month, and trailing 12-month basis. So we can see here the market monitors can differ in terms of time frame granularity, but in each instance, they're providing a full view of what's available in terms of verifiable market data for some of the most important sectors of the global gambling industry. To sum up, our market monitors provide base data inputs in a clean, easy to use and quick manner for the purpose of market entry projects, ongoing regional, jurisdictional and competitor tracking, strategy and planning exercises, cross-jurisdictional benchmarking, and understanding market share. So just navigate back to the platform here. That was an example of how we present verifiable backward-looking data. So we'll now switch our attention to forward-looking market size forecasts that we provide via our forecasting dashboard content pillar here. So I'll just bring up our latest forecasting dashboard that we published earlier this year for Europe. This is an example of a new example of us approaching forecasting for mature markets as opposed to emerging and newly regulating markets in the Americas. So overall, our forecasting dashboards facilitate flexible forecasting of the addressable market opportunity in all regulated and regulating online markets in Europe, North America, and Latin America. They leverage our in-house forecasting methodologies and industry-leading insight into legislative trends to illustrate where, when, and how we project the total addressable market to grow over the medium term in these regions. So this European example is really an illustration of representation of just how kind of completely regulated online gambling has proliferated across the region over the last decade or so. What we're showing here are quite a static, matter-of-fact way our online market size forecast for this region, split between betting, gaming, and total online gambling. We do have interactive functionality to compare compound annual growth over selected timeframes. This is a report that is fairly comprehensive in terms of the coverage of locally licensed online gambling. We can think of potential newly regulating markets, the likes of Finland, that will see this report expand over time. But in contrast to our emerging market forecasting dashboards, this is more of a kind of a fully fleshed out view of online gambling revenue across the region in question. So I'm just going to navigate to our forecasting dashboard for the Latin America region, which is quite distinct to Europe in terms of maturity and the spread of locally licensed online gambling across the region. This is an example of our more customizable interactive forecasting dashboards for the US, Canada, and Latin America, which allow users to adjust participating states, provinces, or countries, whether those jurisdictions allow or will allow online sports betting and or online casino games, plus their projected timelines for launch. So you can see here our base case, market size, and legislative forecasts for the Latin America region, showing countries, jurisdictions where online gambling is already operational and licensed, with the likes of Colombia, Mexico, monopoly markets and the likes of Uruguay, Paraguay, for example, and also markets where online gambling, locally licensed online gambling is on the way. We see the likes of Brazil, Chile, Peru, where we see a pathway for online gambling in the next 2 years or so. I mentioned the fact that these dashboards are interactive. So in each instance, we're able to adjust and edit the dashboard to run our own assumptions, test upside and downside from different scenarios. If we were to model a scenario in which online casino games are locally licensed in Brazil with the launch 1 year on from the launch of online betting, we can see what that does to our forecasts. We can push forecasts for regulating markets backwards or accelerate them forwards to see upside and downside from edits like that. Or we can add or remove countries or states from our model completely. So if we were to just add Guatemala here with a 2025 launch under, for example, concession licensing, we can see the impact of that on our broader Latin America forecasts. So as we can see there, it's a mix of mature, established market forecasts and legislative market size forecasts for those markets which are launching, soon to be launched, or may be kind of static and just potential additions to the locally licensed system over the medium term. So just to sum up, our forecasting dashboards can be used to support market entry and M&A scoping projects, to validate or challenge internal assumptions, and to inform decisions around resource and budget allocations. So those are just a few examples of just a few of our content pillars within the broader Data Hub product. We are now just going to move on to the results of our survey, and I will try to bring that up now. Okay, here we are. So we asked you what data points are most relevant to you in the course of your work. 21% of respondents said historical market size data. 29% of you said that operator level market shares were the most relevant data points for you. And half of respondents said that market size forecasts were the most relevant metric. So we obviously just touched on what we provide in terms of market size forecasts. That's food for thought for us as we think about our content going forwards. I think we can now move to a couple of questions that have come through over the course of the webinar. One of the questions we have here is, what markets do you have active player data and spend per player data for? So thinking about actually one of the data sets we went through just over the course of the webinar, a European online gambling market monitor. This shows the extent of active player data available for the European region. We can see it's quite sparse, limited data really across the region. We have quarterly active player data for France, more detailed granular monthly data for Spain and the Netherlands more recently, and a quarterly view from Portugal. I would say the paucity of active player data at jurisdictional level just reflects the fact that regulators are generally not tracking this information. We do see some level of data for the UK market via the UK Gambling Commission. At company level, we do see active player data reported to a decreasing extent, really, though, from the likes of DraftKings, Kindred, the two that come to mind. But certainly at jurisdictional level, it's something that is difficult to track and aggregate, and is generally goes unreported at jurisdictional level at the present moment. We also have another question that's come through relating to our Asian coverage. Do you have data and forecasts for Asian online markets? So I guess I mentioned the fact that we have forecasting dashboards for emerging markets in the Americas, North America, Latin America, as well as the European dashboard that I showed you. I would say right now for the Asian online markets, our current approach is that we have a focus on verifiable official market data that we can stand behind and have confidence in presenting to our clients. So when it comes to Asia, I can think of a couple of markets where we have regulated online betting revenue from monopoly operators. Thinking of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, maybe Sports Toto. I believe it's Sports Toto in South Korea. regulated betting data in other markets like China, Japan. But in terms of competitive commercial online gambling markets, Asia remains a region that's pretty much universally dark grey or black in nature from a regulated standpoint. We'll see if that changes at any point in the medium term. There's no great sign that we're going to see Asia emerging like Latin America as an opportunity for locally licensed operations in the medium term. So for sure, we have a watching brief for sure on Africa, which is more interesting kind of dynamic region in terms of online licensing and regulations, I would say, but also for Asia. But it's really our focus on trustworthy, verifiable data that means we currently have a focus on regulated markets and also regulating markets for which we have confidence and can stand behind our forecasts. Markets that have yet to launch, the likes of Chile, Peru, Brazil, and Guatemala that I was referencing in demonstrating the Latin America forecasting dashboard. So I think that's the last. Those were the two questions we had come through from the audience over the course of the webinar. So just to sum up here, Vixio's Data Hub is a best-in-class platform of real-time market intelligence for senior industry executives and strategy and corporate development professionals, empowering users to validate internal assumptions, quantify the size of new business opportunities, and prepare for future market growth with confidence. If you have any further questions about the Data Hub, please contact your account manager. Thank you all for joining today's webinar.